After Gordon came back from London, the Fat Controller decided to give him a rest. "James shall do your work," he said. This made James very conceited. One day James was speaking to Toby in the sheds. "You know, little Toby," he said, "I'm an important engine now. Everybody knows that. They come in crowds to see me flash by. I'm as regular as clockwork, never late, always on time. That's me." "Says you," said Toby cheekily. Just then the Fat Controller arrived. "Your parts are worn, Toby, so you must go to the works to be mended." "Can I take Henrietta, sir?" asked Toby. "No," said the Fat Controller. "What would the passengers do without her?" Toby didn't want to leave Henrietta, but he understood the passengers were important. He met Percy down the line. "Don't worry, Toby," said Percy. "I'll watch Henrietta until you get back." Toby made his way to the works. Soon he was out on the main line. He enjoyed his journey but clanked as he trundled along. He's a little engine with small wheels and can't go too fast along the line. His tanks don't hold much water, so he often has to stop for a drink. Never mind, he thought. The signalmen all know me. They'll give me plenty of time. But unbeknownst to Toby, a new signalman had come to one of the stations. While Percy had promised to look after Henrietta, Toby couldn't help but worry about her. "Percy doesn't understand her like I do," he said. He had come a long way and began to feel thirsty and tired. In the distance was a signal. "Good," he thought. "Now I can have a nice drink and rest on the siding until James has gone by." Toby's driver thought so too. Toby was enjoying his drink when a signalman came up. While Toby knew most of the signalmen, he had never seen this one before. His driver tried to explain about his small water tank, but the new signalman wouldn't listen. "No time for that," said the signalman. "We must clear the line for James with the express." "Right," said the driver. "We'll wait on the siding until James goes by." "No good," said the signalman. "It's full of trucks. You'll have to get more water at the next station. They've got plenty of room for you there." Left without a choice, Toby clanked sadly away. I must hurry, he panted. But hurrying used a lot of water, and his tanks were soon empty. Poor Toby was out of steam and stranded on the main line. "We must warn James," said the fireman, and after putting detonators on the line, he walked back to the station to warn James and his driver. "I'll tell that signalman something," he said grimly. James was fuming when he heard the news from Toby's fireman. "I'm going to be late," exclaimed James. "My fault," said the signalman. "I didn't understand about Toby." "Now, James," said his driver, "you'll have to push Toby." "What, me?" snorted James. "Me? Push Toby and pull my train too?" "Yes," said his driver, "you." "I shan't," huffed James. The driver, fireman, passengers, and guard told him what a bad engine he was. All right, grumbled James, and set off to find Toby. "Stupid tram making me late," grumbled James. He came up behind Toby and gave him a bump. "Get on, you," he puffed crossly. James had to work very hard. "Push Toby and pull my train too." "Pah!" snorted James. "It serves you right for being so cross," said his driver. But James said nothing and continued on with their journey. When they reached the workstation, he felt exhausted. Some little boys were along the platform. "Coo," one said. "The express is late and it has a double header. I think James couldn't pull the train, so Toby had to help him." "Never mind, James," said Toby. "They're only joking." "Caw!" said James, and disappeared in a cloud of steam.